My mom laid down the law. Anyone who wanted to marry me had to pay 50 yuan. My sister went around telling everyone, other than being a little fat, dark, and short, my little brother would make a fine husband. Her friends completely lost it when they heard that, and avoided him like the plague. Until one day, a handsome, refined young man appeared in the banquet hall with Wanrou. That was when all her friends went wild. This is the brother you said was a little fat and dark, and a little short. Wanrou was famously overprotective of her little brother, afraid her friends would set their sights on me. She always told people I was short, ugly, and stingy. As a result, I had never dated anyone since becoming an adult. My adoptive parents worried themselves sick. What kind of wife are you even looking for? Anyone who wants to marry my precious little brother had better treat him better than I do. Back then, I only buried myself in his arms, so he never saw my face flush red with embarrassment. He did not know that he was the one I loved. My love for him was forbidden by society, so I kept it carefully hidden until it was discovered. That night, the woman who adored me beyond measure slapped me for the first time. You have no shame. The next day, he announced that he was marrying my brother. Do not forget to come to Jinnian's and my wedding. After reading it, I nearly cried myself dry. Just then, the family search agency called. They said they had found my biological parents. So I made up my mind to leave him. I called my biological parents across the ocean. Mom, Dad, I am willing to move abroad and live with you. When they heard me say that, on the other end of the line, my parents burst into tears of joy. That is wonderful, Xiaoyu. If it had not been for that earthquake years ago, our family would not have been separated for so many years. We will come take you home right away. A peculiar, bittersweet ache welled up inside me. I took a breath and steadied my surging emotions. Give me another 2 weeks. I still need to take care of a few things here. Once I am done, I will come over. Yes, your mother and father were being thoughtless. After all, the Su family raised you for so many years. We heard your sister has spoiled you since childhood. You should properly say goodbye to them. At the mention of Wanrou, my heart gave a slight jolt. When I was 6, a devastating earthquake separated me from my parents. Eventually, the authorities arranged for the Su family to adopt me. The Su family was a prestigious, established wealthy family. Mr. and Mrs. Su were busy with public affairs. Though they adopted me, they did not give me much attention. Rather than saying I was raised by the Su family, it would be more accurate to say Wanrou raised me. When I was 7, I was afraid of thunder. She held me and sang lullabies until I fell asleep. When I was 10, I craved my classmates' snacks and toys. She cleared out the entire shop, spoiling me into a little prince everyone envied. When I was 14, I fainted at home with a fever from a cold. She ran around getting hot water for me, then fed me medicine bit by bit herself. Whatever I wanted, she always placed it before me without delay. People here always teased her for being obsessed with her little brother. No one knew that through countless nights when we only had each other, I had long since fallen for Wanrou. But I did not dare confess. I only dared to secretly write my feelings for her in my diary, or confide in my best friend, Jinnian. But I never expected Jinnian to tell Wanrou about it. That night, Wanrou suddenly burst into my room. With a grim expression, she found that diary and tore it to pieces. She threw the shredded diary at me. Before I could say a word, she slammed the door and stormed out. After that, she did everything she could to avoid me. Even if we happened to run into each other, her gaze toward me was icy cold, as though I were a stranger. I wanted to ask her for an explanation, but instead found Wanrou pinning Jinnian in a corner, kissing him as if they could not bear to part. I thought perhaps many things had long been decided by fate. It was destined that Wanrou and I had no chance. Perhaps my years with the Su family were nothing but a fleeting dream. Now, it was time for me to return to the path meant for me. So I made my decision. I would return to the home that was truly mine, and let go of my years-long love for Wanrou. That day, I came downstairs early. I gave them a sweet smile, walked over, and sat beside them. Then I told my adoptive parents that I had found my biological parents, and had decided to move abroad to join them. This is wonderful news. Xiaoyu, Mom is so happy that you found your real family. Have you told your sister? I froze. Should I tell Wanrou? Her heart was entirely with Jinnian now. Whether the first told her or not, what difference would it make? What did you want to tell me? I spun around and saw her standing in the doorway. Nothing, sister. You are back. Hearing that title for the first time in ages, Wanrou stopped in her tracks. She could not help giving me a long look. When had it begun? When had I stopped calling her sister? When I was 18, 15, or even earlier? Now that I had begun calling her sister again, Wanrou's gaze deepened. She stared at me intently for a long while, as though she sensed something had changed in me. Only after a long moment did she lower her eyes and look away. She walked over and set the gifts she was carrying on the table. Then she said calmly, Mom, Dad, Jinnian bought these gifts for you. He said they are just small tokens and hopes you like them. We love them, we love them. Jinnian always gives such wonderful gifts. Did you thank him for us? Wanrou, next time you visit Jinnian's home, take that tin of black tea from the cabinet with you. If you are free this weekend, invite him and his parents over for a visit. They were clearly preparing to discuss the wedding. I remained where I was, watching them in silence. A wave of loneliness washed over me. My nails dug into my palm, then quickly loosened. At that moment, I felt it clearly once again. But I would not have to worry about any of this anymore. With that thought, I rose calmly and headed to my room. Hearing the movement, Wanrou, who was chatting with her parents, looked up. She only saw my back vanish through the door. Was it just my imagination? Since he came back, he had said only one sentence. That was nothing like his usual self. That afternoon, I took my household registration book to the police station to transfer my registration. As soon as I came downstairs, I saw Jinnian seated beside Wanrou, watching her peel an orange with a bright smile. Wanrou's long fingers skillfully peeled the orange, then carefully removed each strand of pith. She broke off half and held it to Jinnian's lips. Jinnian's cheek slowly reddened. He glanced at her and obediently took the orange from her fingers with his lips. Wanrou gave a soft laugh, then pulled a tissue from the box beside her and gently wiped the corner of his mouth. Is it sweet? Jinnian nodded. He picked up an orange segment and held it out to Wanrou. You should try some too. Watching their intimate display, I silently looked away and headed outside. Xiaoyu. I turned around and saw him wave me over. Wanrou is off today. We agreed to go to the park. Do you want to come with us? You two are on a date. I should not intrude. We are all family. How could you possibly be intruding? I have things to take care of. Maybe next time. When I refused again, Jinnian's smile instantly froze. Xiaoyu, you still blame me for taking your sister from you. Is that why you will not come out with us? You have always been the one I loved. How can you call that stealing? Those words made Jinnian's ears turn red. Wanrou chuckled softly and threw herself into his arms. If he does not want to go, then forget it. He can do as he pleases. Then we went our separate ways. I politely said goodbye to them both, then turned and walked out. After completing the registration transfer, I left the police station and went to the racing club. One entire wall of the office was covered with our awards and photographs from all kinds of races. As I looked at them, my eyes filled with nostalgia and reluctance. I never expected goodbye to come so suddenly. My mentor came in from outside and patted my shoulder. Looking at the mentor who had trained me for 10 years, the longing I had just forced down rose in my throat again. I dug my nails into my palm and took a deep breath. Coach, I am moving abroad. My biological parents found me. I want to settle overseas with them. That is wonderful news. Will you keep racing after you move abroad? Racing has always been my dream. I will not just give it up. I will keep at it after I leave. Are you leaving right away? The biggest race in the country is about to begin. You have a strong chance of winning this time. I have already discussed it with my parents. I will finish things here before I go. I still have 2 weeks. Just enough time to finish this race. Only then was my mentor relieved. He patted my shoulder again. I spoke with my mentor a while longer, then headed home with my bag late that night. But when I opened the door, I found Jinnian was still there. Listening closely, I realized they were discussing wedding arrangements. There were so many styles of clothes and wedding dresses. They made my head spin. I thought Xiaoyu could help me decide. After all, we have been best friends for years, and he knows what I like. As he said that, I happened to step through the front door. Xiaoyu, your brother-in-law is worried about this. Why not, for the next few days, go with him to pick out the wedding items? I looked at Jinnian. A smile touched the corners of his eyes, but the instant our eyes met, That smile turned into a provocation. I lowered my eyes and considered it, but still refused. Sorry, I do not have time. I still have things to do at the club. I only have 2 weeks left. Before I leave, I have a lot to settle. I cannot go shopping with Song Jinnian. But the moment I finished speaking, the atmosphere turned heavy. Your best friend is getting married. Can you not put your own matters aside? It is settled then. Tomorrow, I will ask for leave on your behalf. If he used his standing as an elder to force me to take leave, what right did I have to refuse? At that, a bitter smile tugged at my lips. I said nothing more. Over the next few days, I had no choice but to put everything else aside and devote myself to accompanying Song Jinnian. As he picked out wedding supplies, I thought he only needed to choose a few things at the department store. Instead, he dragged me shopping from the south end of town to the north. From a wedding dress to a single wine glass. He wanted my opinion on everything. Whenever I suggested he send someone to ask Wanrou, he would chide me. Why ask your sister? Your sister is always so busy. Other than giving me money, she does not understand a thing. You are the one who understands me. Last time, I asked her to choose wedding rings with me. And what did she do? She had an entire display case of rings delivered to my house and told me to pick whatever I wanted. He complained to me, but his eyes could not hide his pride. I listened in silence, without giving him the reaction he expected. Just as Song Jinnian was about to say something, he caught sight of a woman at the door. Wanrou, what are you doing here? I looked up and saw him run over and throw himself into Wanrou's arms. Did you not say you were going to the mountain temple outside town to pray? I took half a day off to pick you up. Xiaoyu has been keeping me company these past few days. Why not come with us? Wanrou did not even glance at me. She simply picked up the thing she had bought and walked out. As the temple bells echoed in the distance, the thick fog slowly lifted, revealing the mountain view beyond the temple. I kept my head lowered, watching the stone path beneath my feet as I walked out step by step. What is this? The sudden voice interrupted my thoughts. I looked up to see Song Jinnian standing before a Bodhi tree, studying the prayer ribbons hanging from its branches. May Xiaoyu know joy every year, and may each year surpass his hopes. May Xiaoyu be blessed with good fortune and spared from sickness and disaster all his life. May everyone he meets be kind. May my boy, Xiaoyu, be safe every morning and night, and peaceful year after year. Devotee, Wanrou. As I looked at those prayer ribbons, my heart trembled slightly, and my thoughts drifted further away. After that devastating earthquake, my health had always been poor. A minor illness every 3 days, a serious one every 5. To help me recover sooner, Wanrou came to this temple every week to hang prayer ribbons for me, praying that I would be safe. I never imagined that over all these years, Wanrou had hung so many. Those prayer ribbons still hung from this tree. But Wanrou and I could never go back to what we were. You and your sister are so close. I seem like the outsider here. Song Jinnian could not keep reading. His face darkened as he turned to leave. Do not be ridiculous. You are not an outsider. You are my husband. He is only my younger brother. If this upsets you, I will have them taken down. With that, Wanrou turned and ordered the attendants to tear down every prayer ribbon from the tree. One ribbon after another fell to the ground, where they were carelessly trampled into the mud. Soon, new prayer ribbons covered the tree. On them were love notes Wanrou had written especially for Song Jinnian. Only then did Song Jinnian smile again. He shot me a smug look. If you do this, will Xiaoyu not be angry? How could a younger brother matter more than a husband? That was enough to soothe Song Jinnian. On the drive back to town, he clung to Wanrou the entire way. I sat in the back seat and closed my eyes. Just as I was about to rest, the car suddenly accelerated. I opened my eyes and was about to ask what was happening when a thunderous boom suddenly rang in my ears. The car suddenly malfunctioned, crashed through the guardrail, and rolled several times, finally wedging itself deep in a ravine. My head slammed hard against the seat back, and darkness pulsed before my eyes. When I regained consciousness, I found my entire body pinned in the seat. A branch was viciously embedded in my arm, and Song Jinnian lay unconscious beside me. He did not seem injured. He had merely fainted from fright. Wanrou, in the driver's seat, reacted quickly. She was the first to smash a window and crawl out of the car. She staggered several times before finding her footing. She looked at me, gasping from the pain, then at the unconscious Song Jinnian. After only a moment's hesitation, she hoisted Song Jinnian onto her back. I'll take Jinnian out first. I'll send someone back for you. She said it without looking at me again. She carried Song Jinnian away in a hurry, as if terrified something might happen to him. The moment I decided to let her go, I told myself I would never cry for her again. From then on, I would live only for myself. But when I was alone, pinned beneath the car in that ravine, I could not help remembering the earthquake years ago. I had been buried beneath rubble then too. In the darkness underground, there had been no one but me. I had been trapped for 3 days and 3 nights. Later, the Su family adopted me. Every day, I dreamed of those days after the earthquake, then cried beneath the covers until I shook. Back then, Su Wanrou would always rush into my room and hold me tightly in her arms. Don't be afraid, sweetheart. Your sister is here. Your sister will never let anyone hurt you again. But now, I watched helplessly as she walked farther and farther away, until she disappeared completely from sight. The sky grew darker and darker, but Su Wanrou never came back for me. I gave a bitter smile, forcing myself to use the last of my strength. Ignoring the pain, I painfully crawled out from beneath the car. Then, gritting my teeth, I yanked the branch embedded in my arm free. At last, inch by inch, I crawled outward. I did not know how long I crawled. Eventually, I reached the main road. Then I blacked out completely. When I woke again, I found myself in a hospital bed, my hand wrapped in thick bandages. My last memory was of a kind passerby rescuing me. Yet since I had been admitted, Su Wanrou had not visited me even once. The nurse told me she was taking care of Song Jinnian. Song Jinnian had only minor injuries, but she had reserved an entire floor, just so he could recover in peace. Hearing that, I instinctively looked at my own bandage-wrapped arm. I remembered when I had been hospitalized for a simple cold. Su Wanrou had been just as she was now, treating it like a catastrophe, never leaving my side. On the day I was discharged, many friends came to pick me up. One was a girl who had once pursued me. Looking at the flowers she held out to me, I instinctively tried to refuse them, but she stammered as she cut me off. Xiaoyu, please do not misunderstand. These are flowers to celebrate your discharge. I know you will be leaving soon. I just want you to have a good life from now on. I froze for a moment before thanking her, but the moment I turned around, I saw Su Wanrou standing in the doorway. As far as I remembered, she rarely got angry, but now her face had gone completely cold. She stared icily at the flowers in my hands, then turned and left. I stood there stunned, confused, unable to understand why she was angry, but I did not dwell on it. When I got home, I put the bouquet in a vase. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door from outside. I slowly made my way over, bracing myself against the wall. I opened the door. Su Wanrou stood before me. Ever since she learned how I felt about her, our relationship had hit rock bottom. Su Wanrou had never knocked on my door again. Why had she come now? I had just begun to speak, when Su Wanrou suddenly pulled me into her arms. Caught off guard, I stumbled back several steps. The next day, I came out of the guest room and saw Su Wanrou walking toward me with a frown. How did I end up in your room? She remembered nothing about the night before. I was about to speak, but she coldly cut me off. Did you put me in there? Xiaoyu, I told you, there can never be anything between us. Besides, I am about to get married. Have you still not given up? I froze. Then I lowered my head and said nothing. What would be the point of saying anything? Loving her was my original sin. Now, in her eyes, everything I did was wrong. Seeing my reddened eyes and lowered gaze, Su Wanrou's breathing grew slightly heavier. She was about to approach me, when a gentle male voice came from outside. Wanrou, Song Jinnian called as he came in, just as he smiled and moved to put an arm around her. His smile suddenly stiffened. What happened to the corner of your mouth? It's nothing. A mosquito probably bit me. She instinctively touched her lips, then gave me a long, deep look. After that, I was never alone with Su Wanrou again. She was busy keeping Song Jinnian company, while I had to focus on training. One day, as I was about to get in the car for practice at the racetrack, my coach suddenly approached with Su Wanrou and Song Jinnian. Let me introduce someone. This is the racing driver personally hired by Miss Su. Song Jinnian, give him a warm welcome. Amid the applause, my coach looked at me standing at the edge of the crowd and called, Xiaoyu, help Jinnian out from now on. After the introduction, my coach treated them with great deference. Then he led Su Wanrou and Song Jinnian away to complete the paperwork. The moment the door closed, everyone began whispering among themselves. I heard Song Jinnian wanted to join our club before, but his skills were not up to standard. Exactly. Miss Su is something else. With just one word from her, he got in without any effort. We had to jump through hoops to get in here. We cannot compete with that. Jealous remarks came one after another. My gaze went distant for a moment. No one knew Su Wanrou better than I did. She was reserved and principled, and had always valued rules above all else. Despite her power, she had never used her influence for special favors. Yet for Song Jinnian, she had broken that rule for the first time. She really did love him. From then on, Song Jinnian was a member of the club, and one became his senior. Following my coach's instructions, I taught him earnestly. But Song Jinnian refused to be taught. He never took training seriously, and made up excuses every day to skip it. This time, he disappeared again before I could stop him. I could only go to the window and call after him. But at a glance, I saw Su Wanrou. I did not look any longer. Calmly, I shut the window and resumed training. I returned home very late. The first thing I saw was Su Wanrou standing at the gate. Her expression was dark and unreadable. She looked as though she had been waiting for me. I had just walked over to ask what was wrong, when she coldly confronted me. Xiaoyu, can you stop targeting Jinnian? If you do not like him, just say so. I was already exhausted. The moment I heard those words, a flood of tangled emotions overwhelmed me. Hurt, sorrow, helplessness. I did not need to guess. Song Jinnian must have exaggerated things. When he spoke to her, I did not explain. I simply walked past her, then returned to my room. After that, I was far more lenient with Song Jinnian. That only made Song Jinnian even more smug. Every day, he merely checked in at the club, then turned around and left. Others were furious and wanted to confront him, but I stopped them. I shook my head. This was Song Jinnian's own life. If he failed the assessment, he would be forced to leave. He was responsible for his own life. Besides, I no longer had time to teach him. I thought that would be the end of it. But I never expected Su Wanrou to suddenly come looking for me. She wanted me to give Song Jinnian my spot in this race. At first, I did not understand. Only when she asked again whether I was willing did I look up at her. Cold fury burned in my eyes. You want me to give him my spot? I fought to control my emotions, but I could not hide the tremor in my voice. He is your brother-in-law after all. Besides, it is only a spot in a race. Is it really that important? Su Wanrou, you know exactly what racing means to me. Su Wanrou's heart felt as if something had gripped it tightly. She seemed to remember those years, when time after time, I had pursued racing, and trained until I nearly broke. Her hands suddenly clenched. In the end, she said nothing more, and silently turned away. Ever since Song Jinnian, at Su Wanrou's word, joined the club gradually divided into two factions. One followed me, working hard toward their own goals. The other followed Song Jinnian. They neglected training all day, thinking only of how to please Song Jinnian. So, he would speak for them, in front of Su Wanrou, and win them more benefits. The two factions had never openly clashed, until after training today. Xiaoyu, there is something I do not understand. Can you teach me? I instinctively frowned. Just as I was about to speak, one of Song Jinnian's lackeys suddenly shoved me. What is that supposed to mean? Jinnian asked you nicely for advice. Why are you giving him that attitude? What do you mean? I would like to ask what Song Jinnian means by this. He had plenty of time to ask during training, but he had to wait until it was over. Was that deliberate? I did not want a conflict, so I tugged at my friend beside me. But they thought we were afraid, and their words grew even uglier. Scared now, let me tell you. Our Jinnian is the future lead driver. Xiaoyu, being able to teach him is an honor for you. You are just an orphan. Just an orphan, that is all. If you make our Jinnian unhappy, watch out, or he will have you thrown out. As they argued, no one knew who threw the first punch. The two groups immediately collided and began fighting. In the chaos, Song Jinnian suddenly came to my side and shoved me hard. I was already standing at the edge of the raised platform. Just as I was about to fall, I grabbed Song Jinnian and dragged him down with me. The two of us plunged from the building together. Screams erupted all around us. The scene descended into chaos. By the time Su Wanrou arrived, we were about to be wheeled into surgery. When she saw us, Su Wanrou went pale. There was a trace of panic in her usually calm voice. How are they? Miss Su. Mr. Zhang and Mr. Song both fell from the raised platform. Both of their legs are broken, and Mr. Zhang was pinned beneath Mr. Song. His condition is more serious. There is only one dose of the special medicine for broken legs, But Mr. Song will be fine without it. Should we give it to Jinnian? Before the doctor could finish, Wanrou cut him off. Her voice was resolute. Hearing that finality in her voice, I had just awakened from the pain, and it felt like a thunderbolt had struck me. She knew full well how important legs were to a race car driver. The doctor had clearly said Song Jinnian's legs would be fine even without the medicine. I forced myself to endure the pain, using the last of my strength, and begged through tears, "Sis, please do not. Please, give the medicine to me, okay? It is fine if you do not love me. It is even fine that you left me at the foot of the mountain for a day and a night. But you know exactly how important my legs are to me. I cannot lose my legs. I still have to pursue my dream." I begged her over and over. I broke down and sobbed. Large, glistening tears rolled down my pale cheeks and fell. The boy who had never cried, no matter how badly he was hurt, was now sobbing in utter collapse. Wanrou's hand at her side involuntarily clenched. Just as she was about to speak, Song Jinnian, unconscious beside us, was also awakened by pain, remembering the agony in his legs as he fell. He began to cry in terror too. "Wanrou, my legs hurt so much. Please save me." At that, Wanrou shook off my hand. She hurried over and took Song Jinnian's hand. "Do not be afraid. I will have the doctor give you the medicine right away." After saying that, she did not hesitate again. She urged the doctor to give Song Jinnian the medicine. Watching from beside them, I desperately forced myself to reach toward Song Jinnian, hoping to snatch the medicine from the doctor's hand. But my broken legs held my body fast, leaving me unable to move. The cold needle pierced Song Jinnian's legs. I watched helplessly as the medicine slowly entered his body. 3 days later, I finally woke from my coma. This time, Wanrou was beside my bed. Her face was exhausted, and red veins webbed her eyes. When she saw I was awake, her slightly trembling hand reached out to help me up, but I turned aside to avoid her. Wanrou's hand froze in midair. After a long while, she finally withdrew it. Her throat dry, she said, "You will still be able to walk normally. You just will not be able to race again. I will support you from now on anyway. Jinnian is my fiancé. I could not abandon him." I should have felt so many things. I should have been furious, despairing, heartbroken, and in pain. I should have screamed. But as every emotion piled up inside me, all that remained was helplessness. "Please leave." A long silence fell over the hospital room. At last, Wanrou stood up. She left me with only one instruction: get some rest. Then quietly left. The moment the door closed, I finally looked at my injured legs and wept without restraint. My dream of racing had been crushed to ashes. Ever since the doctor declared that I could never race again, I gradually became a hollow shell. I no longer cried or smiled. I only sat in a chair, staring blankly out the window. Until the day of the race, I ignored the Su family's attempts to stop me, and went to the racetrack. I sat in the last row. I looked toward the track, watching Song Jinnian take my place on the course, receiving the applause and flowers that should have been mine. After the race, Wanrou stepped forward with flowers in her arms. Everyone else crowded around to congratulate Song Jinnian. Only I remained seated there in silence, watching people come and go, until they finally dispersed. After an unknown length of time, I finally stood and walked over. Seeing me approach, Wanrou instinctively stepped in front of Song Jinnian. "If you're angry, take it out on me. Do not hurt him." "I'm not angry. I came to give you a gift." Those words startled everyone. "Come with me." With that, I walked out of the racetrack. The instant they came outside, a firework shot into the sky and burst open. Firework after firework lit up the sky. A flicker of surprise crossed Wanrou's eyes. The next second, she heard me say, "Wanrou, do you remember the day I won my first racing award? You set off fireworks that filled the sky for me. You said you wished that, for the rest of my life, I would shine brilliantly and be as free as the wind. Now, I'm returning those fireworks to you. May you and my brother-in-law stay together for life, loving each other until old age." The moment I said brother-in-law, Wanrou's pupils suddenly constricted. She instinctively looked at me. It was the first time I had called Song Jinnian my brother-in-law in public. Wanrou's heart suddenly tightened. Just as she was about to speak, I had already turned and left. On the eve of the wedding, the Su family was incredibly busy. Late at night, the downstairs lights still blazed. Mrs. Su directed the housekeepers as they decorated the bridal suite with wedding supplies. Upstairs, a lamp was lit in my room as well. I sat on the carpet, slowly gathering every gift Wanrou had given me over the years, and placing them all into a large box. I packed away those gifts one by one, then carried the stack of boxes slowly downstairs. The night was deep and quiet. The entire house was filled with festive decorations. Every corner silently reminded me that this home was about to welcome someone new. I did not look at the decorations again. Holding the boxes, I headed outside. Just then, I ran straight into Wanrou, who had just returned from the Song family. "Where are you going with those?" "To throw away some things I no longer need." Watching my retreating figure without a trace of reluctance, her heart inexplicably tightened. Ever since that incident, I seemed like a different person. I could no longer race. She thought I would argue and make a scene, but I was exceptionally calm. So calm that it frightened her. I turned back to look at her. The next moment, she said, "Jinnian hopes you'll be his best man at the wedding. He's my brother-in-law now, not my best friend. It isn't appropriate for someone younger like me to do that. You should find someone else." After saying that, I did not look at her again. I walked outside one step at a time. It was not that I was unsuitable. It was because on their wedding day, I would be leaving. The night before the wedding, I held a box in my hands and went specifically to see Mr. and Mrs. Su. My biological parents booked the ticket for me. The flight is tomorrow morning. I'm leaving tomorrow. Why so suddenly? It isn't sudden. I should have left long ago. Inside is the money I've saved over the years. It is exactly enough to repay the Su family for everything they spent on me over the past 15 years. I smiled and shook my head. I took a thick stack of envelopes from my pocket and handed them over. When Mr. and Mrs. Su saw this, they shook their heads repeatedly and tried to force the money back into my hands, but I firmly pushed it back. "Please, you must accept it." Then I knelt on the floor and solemnly lowered myself before them, pressing my forehead to the floor 3 times. "Mom, Dad, thank you for caring for me these past 15 years, for the kindness you showed in raising me. I will never forget it for as long as I live. I won't be able to stay by your side from now on. I pray you both remain healthy and live long, blessed lives." When I raised my head, my eyes were brimming with tears, and blood stained my forehead. On the wedding day, Wanrou should have left for her wedding, but she did not move for a long time. Instead, she kept pacing outside my room, staring at the tightly shut door. Wanrou's heart suddenly ached. She kept feeling that she could not leave. If she did, she would lose something very important. "What's wrong, sis?" I opened the door and stepped out, and saw Wanrou standing outside my room. The distance and coldness in my eyes made her heart jolt again. "Why don't you come with me?" I froze. Why would I go with her? To watch her and Song Jinnian flaunt their love? I instinctively glanced at my watch. "I don't have time. I still have things to handle. I'll go straight to the wedding venue and wait for you there." Wanrou was about to speak again, when Mrs. Su called for her from downstairs. "Wanrou, the auspicious hour is passing." With my refusal, and Mr. and Mrs. Su urging her, Wanrou still could not bring herself to leave. Only when the calls grew more insistent did she force down the panic in her heart. "Before the wedding begins, come find me. I have something to tell you." I said nothing, lowering my eyes with an indifferent gaze. But Wanrou seemed determined to get an answer from me. She repeated herself, "It's important. You have to come find me." Seeing that if I did not answer, she would not leave, I could only lie and nod. "All right, I understand." That finally put Wanrou's mind at ease. Only then did she lower the hand blocking my doorway. She turned and left. I watched her go downstairs and get into the wedding car. Then everyone else got into the cars behind hers. At last, celebratory cannon fire rang out. The wedding cars drove farther away, shrinking little by little in my sight, until they vanished. Wanrou, happy wedding day. Goodbye forever. With that, I carried my already packed suitcase downstairs. I walked out and headed toward the airport step by step. My back was resolute. I never looked back. The wedding between the Song and Su families was one of the biggest stories in the capital. Countless people came out early and waited along the wedding procession's route, waiting for the Su family to scatter wedding sweets to the crowds on both sides. Blessings rang out one after another. But inside the wedding car, Wanrou could not bring herself to feel happy. She remembered standing outside my door that morning, and those violent beats of her heart. Her heart began to panic again. She felt as though she had missed something. Because the Su family held higher status than the Song family, Wanrou had personally come to fetch the groom. The Su family did not care about old traditions. They only wanted everyone to know that Song Jinnian was fortunate to marry Su Wanrou. Their daughter was marrying beneath her status, not trying to marry up through some wealthy family alliance. The Song family home was equally festooned, draped in festive silk ribbons. Several of Song Jinnian's groomsmen stood on the balcony, watching for the Su family's wedding cars. At last, the clock struck 11. The Su family's wedding procession gradually came into view. The men excitedly went over to Song Jinnian. "They're here. They're here. Miss Su is here." After a burst of festive music and drumming, Su Wanrou finally went upstairs with her bouquet. She arrived at Song Jinnian's room. Seeing Su Wanrou in her wedding gown, Song Jinnian could not contain his excitement. He was finally going to marry Su Wanrou. After some playful teasing, Su Wanrou and Song Jinnian finally got into the wedding car together. They headed for the hotel. All the way there, Song Jinnian kept studying Su Wanrou. Perhaps it was only his imagination, but ever since she came to collect him, Su Wanrou had seemed distracted. He reached out and gently tugged at her skirt. "Wanrou, what's wrong? Is something bothering you? You don't seem very happy." "Last night, I kept thinking about getting married today, so I was too nervous to sleep." Only then did Song Jinnian stop overthinking it. He gently put an arm around her shoulders. The wedding car stopped outside the hotel. The two went into the lounge to rest. They talked for quite some time. Only then did Su Wanrou get up and leave. Remembering what she had told me that morning, she hurriedly summoned the butler. She told him to bring me over. Before I arrived, she suddenly felt utterly lost. She wanted to tell me that Song Jinnian would be my brother-in-law from now on, no matter how I felt. I must not show it in front of Song Jinnian. After Song Jinnian moved into the Su family home, I could still live at home, without moving out. In her heart, I would still be her younger brother. She had so much she wanted to say, and even rehearsed how to begin when she saw me. But when she saw the butler standing there alone, all the words she had prepared turned to panic. "Where's Xiaoyu?" The butler opened his mouth, unsure how to answer. When Su Wanrou sent him to find me, he happened to run into Mr. and Mrs. Su coming upstairs. After hearing why he was there, Mr. and Mrs. Su exchanged a glance. By then, I should have been on the plane already. The wedding was about to begin, and if Su Wanrou looked for me now, she would surely discover something was wrong. It would certainly delay the wedding too. So they told the butler to lie to Su Wanrou. He said my leg condition had flared up, and I had gone home to rest. To fool Su Wanrou, they even brought out a note I had written before, one she had never seen. It was in my handwriting, saying that I was not feeling well, and had gone home first. Su Wanrou took the note. Her brows drew tightly together. Something about it felt wrong. Just as she was about to speak, the wedding was about to begin. The bride needs to get ready. Su Wanrou stopped herself and drew her foot back. She headed for the ceremony. Watching her leave, the butler quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Gentle piano music began to play. Su Wanrou looked at Song Jinnian waiting at the end of the aisle, then slowly walked toward him. Song Jinnian's smile was impossible to hide. Yet for some reason, she suddenly wondered what I would look like wearing a groom's suit. I had always been mischievous. I probably would not wear a traditional tuxedo, but a black and gold suit in my favorite colors. And unlike Song Jinnian, I would not wait for her to come to me. I would walk briskly toward her instead. I would not wear Song Jinnian's shy smile either, but smile openly and brightly. Then I would lovingly slip an arm around her shoulders. Perhaps she was too lost in that fantasy. When the officiant asked her whether she would marry the groom before her, she instinctively said my name. She was still holding the microphone, and the speakers carried her voice through the entire ballroom. The guests were stunned at first. Then they began whispering among themselves. "Isn't Xiaoyu the Su family's adopted son? Miss Su, why did she say Xiaoyu's name?" The parents from both families, seated in the front row, went rigid. Mr. and Mrs. Su instinctively looked at her, growing more anxious by the second. How could their daughter mess up at such a crucial moment? Mr. and Mrs. Song's expressions darkened. They turned to demand an explanation from the sus beside them. On stage, Song Jinnian heard Su Wanrou call my name. Song Jinnian turned pale. His hand clenched tightly around his trouser leg. He spoke in a trembling voice. "Wanrou, what are you saying?" He instinctively reached for Su Wanrou's hand. They were only one final step away. They would have become husband and wife. Why was she calling Xiaoyu's name? If it had been before, Su Wanrou would have quickly come to her senses and brushed off this little incident. But now she stared at the guests below the stage. Some were strangers, others were familiar, but none was the person she was looking for. The next moment, ignoring everyone's calls, she rushed straight off the stage and ran outside. Countless people called her name, some furious, some heartbroken, some desperate, but she never looked back. She stormed out of the wedding venue. Song Jinnian instinctively tried to chase after her, but suddenly his vision went black. He collapsed straight to the floor. The venue erupted into chaos. Wanrou got into her car, slammed on the gas, and sped straight to the Su residence. She remembered the look in my eyes that morning, the yellow note the butler had given her, and the guilt in his eyes. A dreadful feeling rose in her heart. The car stopped sharply outside the Su residence. Before it had even fully stopped, she rushed into the villa. She took the 2 flights of stairs. In only a few strides, she hurried to my room and threw open the door. It was completely empty. Even all my belongings were gone. Wanrou froze. She grabbed the passing maid. "Where is my brother?" "Young master left early this morning with a suitcase." The maid recoiled in fright. Wanrou's dreadful premonition grew stronger. She shoved the maid aside and rushed downstairs, only to run into her furious father returning home. "Wanrou, stop." Wanrou struggled to break free, but she slipped and tumbled down the stairs. When Mr. Su saw this, he shut his eyes, and he nearly fainted. This should have been a day of great joy. Who could have imagined such a farce? The Su family rushed Wanrou to the hospital. Then the doctors suddenly told them that she was already 1 month pregnant. When the Song family heard, they happily gathered around Wanrou's hospital room. They had thought this marriage alliance was completely ruined. But when all seemed lost, hope appeared. Wanrou was carrying a Song family child. Surely she could not run away now. Song Jinnian was the happiest of all. He had never imagined heaven would be so kind to him, giving him a child at such a critical moment. When Wanrou woke up, she found everyone surrounding her, as if she were under special protection. "Wanrou, you're pregnant now. You cannot take risks. Now that you're awake, apologize to Jinnian. You ran away from the wedding and made everyone criticize Jinnian." How could Wanrou agree to that? She needed to find me. She had to know where I had gone. Wanrou sat up in bed and tried to leave to find me. But Mr. Su gave her no chance to look for me. He waved for the attendants to restrain her, but she gave them no chance to grab her. It made Mr. Su reel backward with rage. Mr. Su reeled backward with rage. "You're already pregnant. How can you run around like this? Where exactly did Xiaoyu go?" Her eyes reddened. Her voice was pleading. Remembering what the maid had just said, Wanrou's heart raced faster and faster. "Why are you asking that? What matters most right now is coming with me to apologize to the Song family." When Mr. Su refused to answer, Wanrou tried to go around him and leave. "Grab her." A crowd rushed forward and forcibly dragged her before Song Jinnian. "Do you know what day this is? Do you? You ran out on your wedding halfway through. Where does that leave the Song and Su family's dignity?" "Wanrou, if you didn't want to marry my son, you should have said so. Why humiliate our family at a time like this? How is my son supposed to face anyone after this?" Wanrou clenched her hands tightly, her lips pressed together in silence. Just then, the hospital room door opened from inside. Song Jinnian stood there pale, his eyes tightly shut. Mrs. Song had no time to worry about him. She hurried after her son to check on him. "Why did you run from your wedding to find Xiaoyu?" Thinking of her daughter's strange behavior all day, an impossible thought suddenly sprang to mind. Wanrou clenched her fist. For a moment, she did not know how to answer. What could she say? At first, she had wanted to find me, to tell me, to treat Song Jinnian as my brother-in-law from then on. But when she learned I had left and vanished, panic immediately consumed her heart. She wanted to find me. But what would happen after she found me? So many images of me suddenly surfaced in her mind. Me happy, me sad, me falling apart, and my relieved expression that morning. Gradually, those images merged into the moment my diary was discovered, when I found the courage to confess to her. "Sister, I like you." Her ears rang. She could not help pressing a hand to her heart. "You went looking for Xiaoyu. Did you suddenly realize you're in love with him?" After all, she had been through love herself. Seeing her daughter like this, that impossible thought became impossible to deny. If it had been before, Wanrou would have denied it at once. But when she did not see me at the wedding, or when she came home and still did not see me, she panicked and desperately wanted to find me. The feeling she had buried deep long ago broke through the earth again and grew into a towering tree. "He's your brother. How could you have such feelings for him? Words Su Wanrou had once said to me were repeated by Mother Su 3 years later. A surge of grief rose in her heart. Only today did she finally understand just how cruel those words were. It was only love. Only unspoken love. I had not even said it aloud. No matter how much you love him, it is useless. Xiaoyu has already gone abroad to find his biological parents. He will never come back. Xiaoyu found his biological parents? Why didn't you tell me? Why did you keep it from me? Don't you know what you've done? Su Wanrou went pale. She remembered the past month, when, just to make Song Jinnian happy, she tore down the prayer ribbons she had hung for me, left me alone in a ravine, and even gave the only effective medicine to Song Jinnian, leaving me unable to race ever again. Her face grew whiter and whiter. She stumbled, nearly falling to the floor. Everything around her blurred. All she could hear was her frantic heartbeat and ragged breathing. I don't care what you thought before. You've already married Jinnian. You're going to be a mother. Put those old thoughts aside. Live a good life with Jinnian. Although Su Wanrou ran out on the wedding, everyone, including both the Song and Su families, still considered Song Jinnian the Su family's son-in-law. Su Wanrou opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but her vision suddenly went black. She collapsed straight to the floor. When she woke again, she saw Song Jinnian sitting beside her, his face streaked with tears. What happened that day had dealt him a devastating blow. A wedding is one of the most important moments in a person's life. Yet the woman he loved fled their wedding for someone else. How was he supposed to face anyone after that? Then she had fainted at the wedding, and Su Wanrou was found to be pregnant. The doctor had just told him that because Su Wanrou had suffered such a severe shock, she might not be able to carry the baby to term. Thinking of this, he cried even harder, and he hated me even more. Ever since childhood, he had never measured up to me. Though the Song and Su families held roughly equal status, his parents still coveted the Su family's wealth and power. They forced him to ingratiate himself with me, hoping to gain some advantage through the Su family. Everything in the Song family was reserved for his younger brother. He had nothing. Even his future wife had to be someone who could advance his younger brother's career. At first, his parents chose a hot-tempered, divorced wealthy woman for him. Only after he made a huge scene and threatened suicide did his parents abandon the idea. To put an end to his parents' plans, he could only find someone himself. As it happened, I secretly told him that I liked Su Wanrou, though he knew I was only the Su family's adopted son. To outsiders, such feelings were clearly unacceptable. So he immediately told Su Wanrou he only meant to crush my delusions of rising through the ranks, but unexpectedly to make me give up completely. Su Wanrou asked him to play along with her. Naturally, he seized the opportunity. After all, Su Wanrou was far better than the woman his parents had chosen for him. She was better in every way. So he shed a few tears before her, put on an act, and pretended to have her best interest at heart. Su Wanrou could no longer keep her composure. She fell right into his trap. Once, then twice, and eventually, they finally got married. But who would have thought Su Wanrou would run from their wedding for me? It humiliated him beyond measure. His parents were furious that he had failed to keep Su Wanrou. But before the Su family, they still put on a pitiful act, making the Su family feel even guiltier. In the past, Su Wanrou would have held him close and gently soothed him. But now, she only stared blankly at the ceiling. The sight made Song Jinnian even more dissatisfied. He knew they had first gotten together because Su Wanrou wanted to use him to provoke me, make me give up, and keep away from her forever. But now he had given her everything. They had even held their wedding. Yet she was still thinking about me. Su Wanrou looked at him coldly. His face went pale. Just as he was about to speak, Su Wanrou glanced down at her lower belly. The doctor had just told her that she was 1 month pregnant, but they had taken precautions every time, except for the time our car crashed into the ravine. When she comforted Song Jinnian and they had no time to take precautions, that was the only time. If I had not left, then having this baby would have been fine. But now that I was gone, there was no reason to keep this child. Song Jinnian and this child alike, both were only tools Su Wanrou had used to make me give up. Besides, she had now confirmed her feelings for me. She could not keep this child now. I'm getting an abortion. Those few words made Song Jinnian spring to his feet. But before he could speak, Father Su and Mother Su rushed in. Father Su berated Su Wanrou. His eyes suddenly closed, and he fainted. Meanwhile, after the people my parents sent brought me to America, I immediately saw them at the arrival's gate. my biological parents clutching flowers as they looked around anxiously. I looked very much like my mother. Our reunion after 15 years made the three of us hold each other tight, weeping uncontrollably. My mother wiped away her tears, but looking at me made them spill over again. After we got home, she held my hand tightly, refusing to let go. Sweetheart, your father, and I named you Xingchen. It's all right, Mom. You can call me Xingchen. After all, I had already cut ties with the Su family. I was no longer part of the Su family. Of course, I should take my biological parents' surname. My mother nodded excitedly. Xingchen, do you still want to race after coming to America? If you do, Mom will contact a racing club right away. I suddenly froze. I stared down at my legs. My eyes suddenly burned red. Tears began falling, one after another. When she saw me suddenly burst into tears, my mother panicked, thinking she had touched on something painful. She quickly hugged me and apologized. I'm sorry, Xingchen. If you do not want to go, then we will not go. All right, Mom. It is not that I do not want to race anymore. I told her how Song Jinnian pushed me off the platform, and how Su Wanrou gave the special medicine to Song Jinnian. After I told her everything, when I told her the doctor said I could never race again, I threw myself into my mother's arms and broke down sobbing. Even though so much time had passed, when I spoke of it again, I still could not accept it. My mother was furious and heartbroken. She comforted me for a long time. Only after watching me fall into a deep sleep did she quietly leave. She called China. Meng, I need your help with something. Ever since Su Wanrou became pregnant, Song Jinnian had moved into the Su residence. He cared for Su Wanrou with painstaking attention. Whatever Su Wanrou wanted, he gave her. Not a single dish was repeated across her 3 daily meals. Under the devoted care of the Su family and Song Jinnian, Su Wanrou's chin gradually rounded out. The only problem was Song Jinnian. Though he and Su Wanrou had held a wedding, they had not registered their marriage. Legally, they were not husband and wife. Today was Mother Su's birthday. No matter how little Su Wanrou wanted to go home, she had no choice but to return. But instead of a lively celebration, she found everybody clustered together, pointing and whispering. Panic gripped her at once. She hurriedly pushed through the crowd. She saw Mother Su desperately blocking Song Jinnian, refusing to let the police take him away. Only after asking around did she learn that when I fell from the platform, Song Jinnian had done it deliberately. I recorded every training session on camera, so I could review the footage afterward. Before my argument with Song Jinnian that day, I had been about to turn off the camera. Instead, Song Jinnian pushed me off. The camera happened to capture it, even if it had not been recorded. So many people had witnessed it. My friends had wanted to report it to the police, but because of Su Wanrou's status, the club executives stopped them and forbade them from calling the police. Not until today, when an international call came from America, was the matter brought to light again. At the same time, Su Wanrou's act of giving the special medicine to Song Jinnian was exposed as well. This string of scandals utterly ruined the Su family's reputation. The lead officer had a pounding headache. Just then, a car horn sounded behind the crowd. Everyone turned around. They saw a stern middle-aged man step out. He walked straight up to Su Wanrou. The man produced an arrest warrant. Su Wanrou, you are suspected of framing someone. Come with us. Without waiting for her answer, he motioned to the men behind him. Several men rushed forward and forced her into the car. When Mother Su saw this, she screamed and tried to stop them. Father Su came to his senses and grabbed her to hold her back. The middle-aged man's status far surpassed his own. Their family could not afford to cross him. The police did not hesitate any longer either. They hauled Song Jinnian into the police car. The crowd gradually dispersed, leaving chaos in its wake. Mother Su went limp and collapsed to the ground. Father Su hurried to help her up, but Mother Su's vision went black. She completely passed out. Inside the dim interrogation room, the middle-aged man sat across from Su Wanrou, holding a sheet of paper. As he listed her crimes one by one, the more Su Wanrou listened, the more familiar it all sounded. It was as though these were all things she had done to me. She had once asked Mother Su about my biological parents' identities, but they seemed terrified and refused to discuss it. When the middle-aged man mentioned that she gave the special medicine to Song Jinnian, causing Ambassador Xia's son, Xiaoyu, to lose the ability to race for the rest of his life, she finally realized that I was Ambassador Xia's son. She tried to rise in agitation, wanting confirmation from the man before her, but the guards behind her held her firmly down. The middle-aged man gave her a cold look and announced her punishment. Meanwhile, Song Jinnian's situation was even worse than Su Wanrou's. During the investigation, they discovered that Song Jinnian had deliberately hurt people more than once. Besides me, several people he disliked had also suffered at his hands. Though the Song family was powerful and could have protected him, he had committed far too many wrongs and provoked someone he never should have crossed. They gave up on protecting him altogether. In the end, the Song family paid the victims a large sum to settle the matter. The Song family was furious over it and took all their anger out on Song Jinnian. They cut all ties with him and left him to fend for himself. In the end, Mrs. Su stepped in and brought him back to the Su residence. Mrs. Su used to like Song Jinnian very much. She thought he was gentle and sensible and could make her aloof daughter smile. Whenever he visited, the house was full of laughter. Now that Mrs. Su had seen the terrible things he had done, she could not bring herself to treat him kindly. Just seeing him gave her a headache. She ultimately sent Song Jinnian to the house next door and assigned several maids to care for him. She also reminded the maids, just make sure he stays alive. You do not need to care about anything else. Only a short while ago, Song Jinnian had been the envy of everyone. Yet overnight, he fell from grace and became the villain on everyone's lips. Everyone avoided him. He made scenes and refused to accept it. But the maids Mrs. Su sent did not indulge his tantrums. You should give up that idea. If Miss Su were not carrying your child, the Su family would not care about you at all. Song Jinnian thought of the child in Su Wanrou's belly and finally calmed down. After all, he had nothing left now. The child was his only hope. He had to make sure Su Wanrou gave birth to this child safely. With that in mind, he stopped struggling and obediently finished the remaining porridge in his bowl. Meanwhile, in the room downstairs, ever since Su Wanrou was demoted, with no idea when she could rejoin the team, she sat collapsed on the floor, drained of all strength. Her legs lay sprawled out carelessly, her hands hanging limply at her sides. Her hands hung powerless at her sides. Her eyes had turned cloudy. A maid carried in a large box and placed it before Su Wanrou. Miss, these were sent back from the recycling center. They said young master threw them away. The items were too valuable, so they did not dare dispose of them. That is why they returned everything untouched. When she heard they were things I had thrown away, Su Wanrou's clouded eyes suddenly lit up. After I left, everything in my room had been thrown away, including our family portrait. She had searched every corner of the house, but found nothing connected to me. Su Wanrou yanked the box toward herself, perhaps because she had not moved in so long. Her strength faltered, and the box tore open. Everything inside spilled out. When she saw what was inside, her eyes flew wide open. They were all gifts she had given me. The teddy bear in her hand dated back to my first day at the Su residence. It was the welcome gift she gave me. Back then, I was so frightened that I could not sleep night after night. Su Wanrou would secretly slip into my room, holding the teddy bear as she told me bedtime stories. She said the bear was her stand-in, and it would protect me in her place. The leather shoes beside it were the first birthday gifts Su Wanrou gave me. She had them custom-made abroad especially for me. The remaining boxes were birthday gifts she gave me every year. At midnight on my birthday, when the clock struck 12, she would take the gift she had prepared long ago and leave it outside my bedroom door. She never missed a single year, until I was 18, when she discovered the diary containing my secret feelings. She never gave me another gift. Su Wanrou examined them one by one, the pain in her eyes growing deeper. I had preserved every gift with great care. If not for the yellowed marks of age, anyone would have thought they were brand new. She reached out with trembling hands and gently touched the gifts one by one. Then she seemed to notice something else. She pulled a diary from beneath the gifts, seeing it covered in tape. She knew it was the diary she had torn to pieces. Back then, the boy who always called her sister suddenly began calling her by her full name. She thought I had simply grown up and developed secrets of my own, so she gave it little thought. That was until Song Jinnian secretly stopped her and revealed all my feelings for her. Only then did she learn that I had loved her for a long time. At first, she was stunned. Then fear took hold. I had told Song Jinnian even my most private secrets, and Song Jinnian had never been able to keep a secret. If Song Jinnian ever exposed it, it would not only hurt her and me, but deal a devastating blow to the entire Su family. So before the matter was fully exposed, she decided to crush my feelings before they could grow. She did not know how she had stormed into my room, or how she had torn my diary apart. When she came back to her senses, she saw my shattered, tear-streaked face. For a moment, she truly panicked, but when she remembered what it contained, that panic turned to anger. From the day you came to the Su family, I have only ever seen you as my little brother. How could you have such feelings for me? If you still want to stay with the Su family, then bury those feelings. Otherwise, if this causes a public scandal, and everyone finds out, you will bring utter disgrace upon the Su family. Her hand stroked the shattered diary. She could imagine it, after she left, how I had sobbed until I broke down. Then, after crying myself into exhaustion, carefully taped my torn diary back together piece by piece. Perhaps the pain had been too great. The diary still bore countless wrinkles left by dried tears. My tears had soaked through and blurred the ink. Many words could no longer be read. Yet she could still feel the deep love I once held for her. That was why I had refused to give up afterward, trying again and again to win her back. But she could not accept it. Mr. and Mrs. Su's opposition alone would wound me all over again. So, to sever my feelings for her completely, she decided to find someone to put on an act. When he learned of her plan, Song Jinnian volunteered. Seeing Song Jinnian's frail, unsteady body, she felt a surge of pity. But she later learned that it had all been part of Song Jinnian's scheme. Everything that followed fell into place. She and Song Jinnian grew closer and closer, while the love in my eyes gradually faded. When she first stayed out all night for Song Jinnian, when she held Song Jinnian's hand and announced their engagement, then announced their marriage, the love in my eyes vanished completely. Only coldness and distance remained. They were the only feelings I had left for her after my heart had died. She had been so relieved then, relieved that I finally no longer loved her. But now, when she finally recognized her belated love for me, she was in such agony. Sorrow filled the entire room. Clutching the diary, she broke down in tears. Jincheng Airport. 6 months later, I set foot on this land once more. When I left for America, I thought I would never return. But unexpectedly, only 6 months had passed before I came back to China. This time, I had returned in my mother's place to attend her mentor's birthday banquet. My mother could not return to China because of work, so she sent me instead. To ensure my safety, she specifically asked my younger cousin to accompany me back to China. I had only been gone for 6 months, but as I looked at everything before me, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Jia Jiacheng, beside me, kept marveling at everything. He had lived in America since childhood. This was his first time returning to China. Before we returned to China, my mother called another friend in China, asking him to take good care of us. So after leaving the airport, we did not go to a hotel. The Gu family picked us up and took us straight to their home. The Gu residence was in the south of the capital, surrounded by estates belonging to prominent families. The Gu residence, where my mother's mentor lived, was not far from where I had lived back then. Looking at the familiar streets, I was dazed for a moment. I had traveled this road countless times. When I was 6, the Su family took me into their home. We traveled down this very road. When I was 15, after training ran late, Su Wanrou came to pick me up, and we took this road home as well. On Su Wanrou's wedding day, I watched her wedding car drive down this road too, and in the end, dragging my suitcase, I followed this road to the airport. As I was lost in my memories, a large hand suddenly appeared before my eyes and waved in front of me. That brought me back to my senses. Why are you zoning out? Nothing. The car came to a smooth stop in the Gu family courtyard. The moment we got out, Mrs. Gu warmly came to greet us. We quickly took out the gifts we had prepared and handed them to a servant nearby. After exchanging pleasantries, Mrs. Gu then led us to the rooms prepared for us. Both our rooms were on the first floor. Through the glass doors, we could see the beautiful back garden. After unpacking, we chatted with Mrs. Gu for a while longer. Then, carrying our gifts, we walked to the Feng residence to visit mother's mentor. Before leaving, we told Mrs. Gu not to save dinner for us. Mrs. Gu nodded. After reminding us to be safe, she watched us leave. The Feng residence was not far from the Gu family home, but Jia Jiacheng could never sit still. He kept asking me to tell him stories about the capital. Though I had lived in the capital for 15 years, I had only ever gone between the racing club and the Su residence. I rarely went anywhere else, especially after Su Wanrou discovered my feelings. I barely left the house at all, except to visit the temple beyond the mountains. The moment he heard there was a temple to visit, Jia Jiacheng pestered me to take him there to pray when I had time. Jia Jiacheng had loved wandering around since childhood. In America, our aunt had kept an eye on him, but once back in China, he was everywhere like a monkey. I simply could not withstand his pleading, so I could only agree. After we attend Grandpa Feng's birthday banquet, I will take you there. Satisfied at last, Jia Jiaochang released my hand. When we reached the Feng residence, the servants were already bustling about, preparing everything needed for the birthday banquet. When the butler saw us, he warmly hurried us inside. In the living room, I immediately spotted old Master Feng seated on the sofa. I placed the gift I had prepared on the table. Grandpa Feng, on behalf of my parents, I wish you a long and blessed life. May your life shine as brightly as the sun for thousands of years. Jia Jiaocheng, and I also wish you the strength of an ancient tree, and youthful vigor with every step. The string of blessings made old Master Feng laugh heartily. He patted the armrest of the chair beside him, and quickly invited us to sit on the sofa. He asked with concern, "Have your parents been well these past few years?" "They are both well. It is only because of work that they could not attend your birthday celebration." "That is nothing. It is the thought that counts. Jiu, take them out and show them around. Come back for dinner tonight. Young people like you should get out more. I am too old to get around anymore." After chatting a while longer, we said goodbye to old Master Feng. Then we followed Feng Jiu outside. The three of us chatted happily along the way. As the conversation grew lively, Feng Jiu suddenly smacked his forehead. "I almost forgot. About half a month ago, I arranged to visit a racing club. I was going to learn a little just for fun. Xingxin, I remember you used to race, right? Could you help me see whether this club is any good? If it is not, I will find another one." But the other two suddenly went stiff at those words. "What is wrong? We might not be able to go. For personal reasons, my brother does not want to go to a racetrack again." "Then never mind. We will not go. You are our guests. We have to make sure you arrive happy and leave happy." With that, he asked the butler nearby to notify the club. Then he took us to a park on the other side. At the racing club, Song Jinnian was guiding the drivers through simulator training. Members had been leaving for other clubs one after another, because its reputation had been ruined. Fewer and fewer wealthy people were joining the club. In the end, their coach had to call in countless favors to bring in wealthy people interested in investing in the club. Just as everyone was training intensely, the coach suddenly entered with a grim expression. He clapped his hands. "Why are you still training? Go home, all of you." Faced with the coach's sudden outburst, everyone exchanged confused looks. Even Song Jinnian rose from his chair. He slowly walked toward the coach. "Why have we suddenly stopped training again? How would I know? The Feng family just sent word that they will not be coming to inspect the club. They will not invest in our club." The moment he said that, it was like water splashing into hot oil. Everyone erupted into anxious discussion. Some even were so distraught that they began to cry. They had been counting on that money to fund their training and races. Listening to complaint after complaint, Song Jingnian's face grew paler and paler. He dug his nails hard into his palm and demanded, "Why? How would I know?" Song Jingnian did not know how he left. The blazing afternoon sun stabbed painfully at his eyes, but he seemed unable to feel it. Numbly, he returned home and ran straight into Su Wanrou, who was just heading out. Without thinking, he asked, "Where are you going?" "None of your business." Su Wanrou did not care at all. She moved to leave. Mother Su had just received an invitation from the Feng family, inviting them to old Master Feng's birthday banquet. Originally, he was not even supposed to be involved. He secretly overheard Mother Su say, "Invitation in hand. Ambassador Xia's son will be attending too." After what happened that day, everyone knew I was Ambassador Xia's son. Knowing he could finally see me again, he did not bother preparing anything. He secretly went to the Feng residence to try his luck, hoping he might run into me. "What do you mean? None of my business. I am your husband. We never registered our marriage. The wedding was never completed. You are not my husband." After saying that, she did not spare him another glance and walked away. Song Jingnian clenched his teeth and secretly followed her. He knew she was in such a rush because she was hurrying to see me. Feng Jiu took Jia Jiacheng and me around for hours. Only then did our group return, thoroughly satisfied. But as soon as we reached the gate, I saw a familiar figure. From the moment I gave up on Su Wanrou completely, I never wanted to see her again. So instinctively I turned to take another path. But sharp-eyed Su Wanrou spotted me at once. "Xiaoyu," I sighed. I had not managed to avoid her after all. I turned and looked coldly at her. Su Wanrou instinctively moved to hug me, but the two men in front of me forcibly blocked her. In the past, Su Wanrou would have told them to get lost. But now, Her status did not give her the right. Besides, of those two men, one was old Master Feng's grandson. She could not afford to provoke him. What do you want with my brother? As for what Su Wanrou had done to me before, he had heard about it too. When we returned to China, my mother repeatedly warned him to watch out for the Su family, especially Su Wanrou and Song Jinnian. Su Wanrou froze at the question. She opened her mouth, but what could she say? That only after I left did she realize how she truly felt, and now wanted to win me back. As for Song Jinnian, she could send him away too. After all, they had never registered their marriage. She swallowed hard and stared at me behind the two men. It had only been half a year, but I looked far better than I had at the Su residence. Those eyes that had always been dim were now filled with light. Xiaoyu, I know I was wrong. I should not have treated you that way. I always thought I did not love you. Not until you left did I realize that you are the one I truly love. As for Song Jinnian, he was only a tool I used to provoke you. So, can you give me another chance? She was like a wife who had made mistakes for years before finally seeing them, begging her husband for forgiveness. But I was not the kind of husband who would take his wife back, just because she finally realized she was wrong. As I listened to her words, my heart was filled with bitter irony. But did you not say you only saw me as a younger brother? You said I should never have felt that way about you. You said if we were ever exposed, the Su family would be humiliated. You used Song Jinnian as a tool to drive me away. Did I not do exactly as you wanted? You caused all of this, and now you are the one regretting it. Su Wanrou, you cannot have everything your way. Every word I threw at her made Su Wanrou's fingers tremble slightly. Back then, she only wanted to quickly sever my feelings for her. That was why she had said those cruel things without hesitation. I thought I had stopped caring about all that long ago. But when I saw Su Wanrou again and heard those memories in her words, the past I had buried came flooding back into my heart. Su Wanrou, you asked me to give you another chance. But why did you not give me one? When our car went over into that ravine, when I begged you to give me the special medicine so I could save my legs, why would you not give me a chance? Why would you not give me hope? By the end, I was barely able to stand. Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably, my eyes full of resentment and hatred. We had known each other for 15 years. She knew perfectly well that these legs were my second life. Yet she still had the doctor give the special medicine to Song Jinnian, who did not need it at all. After that, I had nightmares for several nights in a row. Hearing my outburst, Xia Jiacheng beside me held me up, his heart aching for me. I shook my head and continued. Su Wanrou, after I went to America, I thought about so many things. I truly was too young then. All I could think about was being with you. That was why I never considered the consequences. I understand if you hate or resent me, but other than secretly loving you, I did nothing. So, why did you hate me enough to make sure I could never race again? You kept saying you would support me for the rest of my life. Do you really think that sounds believable? Su Wanrou fought to steady her breathing, but my words were like a sharp blade, mercilessly cutting through her heart. She did not know how to answer. At the time, she had not recognized her own feelings at all. She only thought this would make me give up on her. That was why she had said such things. Besides, she had been about to marry Song Jinnian. She did not know Song Jinnian's true nature either. She thought that even if I could no longer work outside the home, she believed that with her means, supporting me would not be a problem, and she was sure Song Jinnian would not mind. But now, everything had changed. She did not dare say such things again. I glanced past her. Someone was cowering and hiding there. It was obviously Song Jinnian. Remembering that he was the real culprit behind my broken legs, I gave a cold laugh and called out, "What are you hiding there for?" Su Wanrou turned around, and her face darkened at once. Song Jinnian had actually followed her. Go home. Song Jinnian had already been upset by what she said, and bitter resentment filled his heart. Now that she had shouted at him, he stopped hiding, stood up, and walked over. He tried to take Su Wanrou's arm, but she swiftly dodged him. Gritting his teeth, he looked at me, sizing me up from head to toe. His gaze finally settled on my legs. He said casually, "Our club was about to secure sponsorship from the Feng family. We were training well, but then our coach came in and said the sponsorship had fallen through. When we asked why, we learned it was because you cannot race anymore. You could not stand seeing the club succeed. So, you had the Feng family pull their sponsorship. Xiaoyu, you really are as selfish as ever." "Shut up. The Su family certainly has an odd idea of good manners. What nonsense are you spouting? Su Wanrou did not spare a thought for his condition. She slapped him hard across the face. Song Jinnian was slapped so hard he fell to the ground. His cheek immediately reddened and swelled. If you cannot speak properly, then keep quiet. No one is forcing you to speak. Su Wanrou instinctively tried to catch up with me, but Song Jinnian shoved her to the ground. Wanrou, I am your husband. How can you go after someone else? Su Wanrou fell to the ground. Blood flowed from her abdomen and spread across the floor. Only then did Song Jinnian remember she was pregnant. In a panic, he called an ambulance. Su Wanrou was rushed to the hospital. Mother Su rushed to the hospital when she heard the news. She slapped Song Jinnian hard across the face. She no longer cared about keeping up appearances. For the first time, she cursed. Why the hell did you have to go out and cause trouble? Mother Su had been resting quietly at home. Then the butler suddenly rushed in and told her Su Wanrou had been hospitalized. Fearing something had happened to Su Wanrou and her grandchild, she hurried to the hospital. At the entrance, she happened to run into a servant from the Feng family. That was how she learned what foolish thing Song Jinnian had done. I was no longer the Su family's adopted son. I was Ambassador Xia's son. The Su family's standing had plummeted. They could not afford to cross me. Besides, when Song Jinnian insulted me, the Feng family's grandson had been right there. The man ordered to arrest Su Wanrou last time was Feng Zhiyu's uncle. After learning I was unharmed, Mother Su raised her hand and slapped Song Jinnian again. Then she gave Su Wanrou a slap as well. What standing do you have now? And what standing does Xiaoyu have? And you still dared to go looking for him? Su Wanrou, after everything you did to him before, do you really think he will forgive you? Mom, I know what to do. You are going to be the death of me. Her words did not reassure Mother Su. Instead, they made her clutch her chest tighter. With that, Mother Su did not spare them another glance. She stormed out. Put away those thoughts you should not be having. The baby is gone. There will not be a next time. For Su Wanrou, this miscarriage was a wonderful thing. Now she had no burdens or ties holding her back. She could pursue me without a care in the world. Seeing Su Wanrou's darkened expression, Song Jinnian ground his teeth. On old Master Feng's birthday, guests filled the hall. After delivering our birthday gifts, Jia Jiacheng and I stood off to one side, quietly discussing our visit to a temple. It is a little cold in the mountains. Remember to dress warmly. They serve vegetarian meals up there, so just bring some water and crackers. Okay. Suddenly, he noticed a shadow fall across him. He looked up and saw Su Wanrou standing in front of us. What are you doing here? Are you going to the mountain temple outside the city? I never knew you had a habit of eavesdropping. I could not be bothered with her. Taking Jia Jiacheng with me, I walked in the other direction. Su Wanrou tried to follow, but someone came looking for her again. Throughout the entire banquet, she never got another chance to say a word to me. At the mountain temple outside the city, the sky slowly brightened. The fog grew even thicker. Thick masses of white mist billowed upward. They blanketed the entire path. Jia Jiacheng and I walked step by step along the stone path, slowly making our way toward the temple at the summit. Buddhist chants drifted from nearby, and the bells rang deep and distant. Ancient trees towered over the temple grounds. Green moss covered the blue stone paving. The wind stirred falling leaves, making them rustle softly. Bronze bells hanging from the eaves trembled. I took a deep breath and sat on a stone bench in the corner. I watched Jia Jiacheng, curious as a child, looking here, then peering there. It should have been a beautiful moment, but Su Wanrou's arrival ruined it. She just would not go away. That was the first thought that crossed my mind when I saw Su Wanrou walking toward me. Xiaoyu, can we talk properly? I had not wanted to talk to her, but I was going back to America. What if she kept hounding me and followed me there? It was better to make things clear while I had the chance. So, just as I was about to stand, I sat back down. Fine. What do you want to talk about? A flicker of delight crossed Su Wanrou's eyes. She moved to sit beside me, but I quickly stood and headed outside. I did not stop until I reached a Bodhi tree, looking at Su Wanrou as she followed me. I am in a hurry. Say what you came to say. Su Wanrou took a deep breath. Then she finally said everything she had wanted to say over the past 6 months. She said she never liked Song Jinnian. Her relationship with him had only been an act to make me give up on her. She also said she had no idea Song Jinnian had hurt me. That was why she had chosen to save Song Jinnian first. After all, he had been her fiancé at the time. She said they had only held a wedding, but were never legally married. The baby had been an accident. Mrs. Su was the one who wanted the child. Now she had miscarried. and she would throw Song Jinnian out at once. In short, she wanted me to come back to her, so we could return to how things used to be. For the first time, I truly studied the woman before me. She looked exactly as she always had. But why did she feel like such a stranger to me? Wanrou, no matter why you got together with Song Jinnian, or what your reasons were, you truly hurt me. With Song Jinnian's nerve, he would never have dared hurt me on his own. He relied entirely on your indulgence. You were the one who pushed me away first, who neglected and hurt me. That was why he followed your lead and hurt me too. Honestly, the two of you are perfect for each other. Wanrou went pale. She never expected me to say she and Song Jinnian belonged together. But she did not like Song Jinnian at all, especially after learning his true nature. She found him even more repulsive. I did not look at her. I continued. You were the one who pushed me away. You were the one who made me give up first. I really did like you once. It was because, after I came to the Su family, you were the first person who treated me kindly. You filled nearly all of my youth. So of course I developed feelings for you. But after you pushed me away, I saw the world beyond you and realized I did not need you. You and Song Jinnian did so many disgusting things. Now you think one word about starting over can erase it all and make me reconcile with you. That is impossible. Because of you two, I will never be able to race again. As long as my legs still hurt, I will never be able to forgive you. Wanrou, sometimes you are incredibly selfish. You pretend it is all for everyone else's sake, but really, it is only for yourself. To push me away, you turned your fake relationship with Song Jinnian into something real. Now, to win me back, you say you never loved Song Jinnian. In your mind, we are nothing but tools for you to use. You once said I would always be your first choice, and that you would never hurt me. Wanrou, you broke your promise first. What makes you think I should turn back and forgive you? One hard truth after another made her slowly close her eyes. The words she wanted to say became unbearably difficult to speak. Bitterness spread through her mouth. Suddenly, she remembered a long time ago. That night, when I had been too scared to sleep, she sat by my bed holding a teddy bear and told me a bedtime story. At the end of the story, she placed the teddy bear beside my pillow. In a soft but firm voice, she said, "Big sis will be just like this teddy bear. I will always protect you. I will never hurt you. You will always be Big Sis's first choice. You are only saying that to comfort me, sis." "No, I will not. Let us pinky promise, okay? If you ever really hurt me someday, I will never speak to you again." Tears silently slid from her eyes. Wanrou opened her eyes again and looked at the person before her. But I walked down the mountain without looking back. "Xiaoyu," she called. I paused, but I did not turn around. Is there truly no chance for us anymore? Without looking back, I disappeared from her sight. Wanrou finally covered her face and broke into sobs. Wanrou. There was no longer any hatred or resentment in Song Jinnian's eyes. Only boundless sorrow remained. Once, Song Jinnian had done anything to latch onto Wanrou. He committed every kind of evil. He even lost the only person who had ever been kind to him. After finally becoming the envied son-in-law, he discovered that the woman he had sincerely loved had long held someone else in her heart. His eyes were full of confusion and helplessness, especially after overhearing our conversation. He finally understood. Wanrou loved no one. She only cared about herself, and everything he had given for more than 4 years had meant nothing. It had become scattered dust, blown away by the wind. He knew that if he had any sense, he should leave Wanrou at once, and leave the Su family. But the Song family had cut ties with him, and Mr. and Mrs. Su did not like him either. The only thing he could do was cling tightly to the woman before him. So he swallowed his sorrow, and looked at Wanrou hopefully. He reached for her hand. "Wanrou, you still have me. Can we live a good life together?" But Wanrou was just like I had been moments ago. Without even glancing at him, she turned and left. The last shred of hope in his heart shattered. He knew it was impossible. I waited and waited at the airport, until Jia Jiacheng finally rushed over. "What were you doing? Why are you so late?" "I just went to the hospital to watch quite a spectacle." "What spectacle?" Song Jinnian's love turned to hate. He pushed Wanrou down the mountain road, leaving her with multiple fractures. Because help came too late, both her legs had to be amputated. As for Song Jinnian, he lost his footing and fell, ruining both his legs too. When Mrs. Su heard this, she fainted from rage. Mr. Su told the butler that once they were discharged, they were to be thrown out of the house and left to fend for themselves. Unfortunately, before either of them even left the hospital, They started fighting again. They tumbled down the stairs, and both ended up in vegetative states. Happy now. What does that have to do with me? The plane is about to take off. I am going to sleep. I ignored him and closed my eyes. The plane streaked across the sky.